Heyo, Tyler here, and this video is going to be going over the Renegade Knights. They just released, Games Workshop did the index for the Renegade Knights, which really doesn't add much, but it lets you take the new Knights and the Armiger Warglaves as Renegades, which is pretty cool, and it gives them like a Warlord trait and stuff. So that helped me finally decide to make this video. So this is going to be slightly more tilted towards using them with Traitor Guard units, but really it's not going to be that much, so you can just use it as a general guide for the Renegade Knights. And I'm going to be going over the normal ones and the Forge World ones. Alright, so first we have the main Renegade Knight of the Renegade Knights called Renegade Knight. And I'm gonna go over the point values later. Basically, Renegade Knight is just like it's just like the same stats as like the normal knights, but it gets to pick its cannons, like its guns, exactly how it wants, and that's pretty cool. So it starts out with the Reaper Chainsword and a Thunderstrike Gauntlet, a Heavy Stubber Titanic Feet. So base, it just has the two melee weapons, and they are not as good as the guns. They're not awful, but having both of them really isn't that good. I wouldn't really recommend it, because just the guns are so good, and kicking things to death is one of the best things you can do with their Titanic Feet, because that lets you get 12 attacks at Strength 8, minus 2 AP, D3 damage. Is just really good. But, so it has three different things it can take in combination to replace its melee weapons. And you can double up on them, so you have two of the same thing. So you can have the Avenger Gatling Cannon, which is Heavy 12, Strength 6, minus 2 AP, 2 damage. So pretty good. If you have two of them, you get 24 shots. That's a lot of damage. And then that comes with a Heavy Flamer, so you have to take the Heavy Flamer with it. Heavy Flamers, I don't think are... I like Flamers as an idea, but I don't really like them this edition. I don't think they're worth it for how much points they cost, but... I mean, if you're going to invest this many points, a little bit more is not that bad. So you get both of those. Second thing you can get is Rapid Fire Battle Cannon and the Heavy Stubber. Heavy Stubber's good. It's super cheap, and it's just shots. But Rapid Fire Battle Cannon's pretty good. 8 strength is going to hit basically wound everything on 4s. AP minus 2 is not that good. D3 damage is okay. But I mean, you're going to have basic roughly 7 shots per each one. So I mean, it's a decent thing, and it's the longest ranged one, so... I'd say it's probably my least favorite, but I don't think it's bad. I think all three of the main guns are about equal in strength, really. Just depending on what you want your guy to do, you know. Third thing is just straight a thermal cannon, and it's just a melt-a-gun, but it has heavy D6. Okay, so I just was making sure they do have the thing for, they can fire the heavy weapons without a penalty if they move. So you can double up on any of them. That's normally what I would do, is either just have 2 of the Gatling guns, 2 of the Melta-guns, or 2 of the rapid-fire battle cannons. I mean, 2 of the thermal cannons, or 2 of those. But, yeah. So then it can also replace 1 heavy stubber, because it has heavy stubber on it normally with a Melta-gun. Okay, I mean, you can do that, why not? Then it can take one of these 3 things. The Icarus, we'll just do this one first. The Iron Storm Missile Pod, D6, really long range, strength 5, minus 1 AP, 2 damage. It can hit people even if they can't see them. Okay, I'm not sure how many points it is, but if it's a lot of points, that's not really worth it. Storm Spear Rocket Pod, Heavy 3, Strength 8, minus 2, D6 damage. That one's better than that one if they're roughly the same price. Then last one, Icarus, twin Icarus autocannon. Not that good either. So I mean, really, you don't super want the melee weapons. You can have them. I think if you want a melee weapon, some of the Forge World Knights are better than these, just because they're cooler and they can do sort of uniquer things. But you could run a gun and a melee weapon and not feel bad about it. So I think anything is okay. Not awesome, but okay at least. Like I said, if you would run them double, you would get the +1 weapon skill and an extra attack. I don't really think that's worth it, but whatever you want to do. Then it does have an ion shield. So that's just a 5-up invuln save against ranged attack. Now the thing with all these knights is when they have it for just the ranged attack, they're pretty hardy. Like, they're not that hardy, but they could sort of tank stuff then. But then, since they don't have anything for combat, if another knight or anything like that gets into combat with it, whichever one hit first is just going to wreck the other. Maybe not even kill it, but it's going to do a lot of damage whichever one gets to hit first. Yeah. So that's just the normal Renegade Knight. And then we have the Renegade Knight Dominus, which is just like that thing, but a little tougher, and it has the 2 different sets of combinations. So it has 4 more wounds, and it just has the different guns. And not as good weapon skill. Okay, so, these things just came out. Most people probably know about them. And just like the slightly bigger, tankier knights. So the one loadout is Plasma Decimator and Volcano Lance. The other one is Conflagration Cannon, Thunder Coil Harpoon. So the first one is, I forget what the names are because it doesn't even say here. Alright, so I'm going to do the Plasma Decimator Volcano Lance one first. So Plasma Decimator, okay gun. I mean, for just a random night gun, I don't think it's that amazing because it's just like a plasma you get a lot of shots with, and you hurt yourself with it if you do it that way. But I don't think it's awful. I think it's a decent thing. And then what you get with it is the Volcano Lance. So basically, it's just the thermal cannon, but way better. So you always get the reroll failed wound rolls when you're targeting Titanic stuff. Strength 14. So not. I mean, it doubles up on everything besides Strength 8 stuff, but you're still hitting on 3s against Strength 8 stuff. -5 AP, which is crazy, because that just basically it's just invuln save or nothing. And then 3d3 damage, you don't see that very often, but 3d3 damage is pretty good. Because at minimum, you're going to be doing 3 damage, but you're probably going to be doing between 4 and 5 damage a shot, so that's pretty darn good. The other loadout is Conflagration Cannon. So, heavy 3d3 flamer. 7 strength, 2 damage. It sort of makes me sad they did that, because, you had the one knight, the Knight Archon, that was the Forge World one, that's the one I have. That's the only reason I'm sad. I think everybody else is happy about this. But it only has 2d6 shots, but it has 3 damage. So, I think I'd rather have it if it had this profile, but, I don't know. So, pretty cool flamer weapon. Then it has a Thunder Coil Harpoon, which is just, I really like this. You can reroll the hit rolls against vehicles or monsters. In addition, if it inflicts any damage, it does an additional D3 mortal wounds. So if you hit, you're at least doing 11 damage, minus any funky stuff. But strength 16, so it's going to be hitting everything on 2s besides like weird, I think everything basically. -6 AP, which I mean, I don't think that's even useful for any, like, what, a 2+ unit in cover, I think, is the only thing that even does any anything too. And then 10 damage. It's the only thing that does 10 damage. Wow. So it's got the ion shield. It blows up very big, so that's a plus or a minus depending. So it's just one of those things where it is more than the Knights, but it is tankier than the Knights. So it just depends on if you specifically like one of those things. I think they're all okay, but they just get eaten up this edition some, depending on what the opponent has. Now we have the Renegade Armigers. So only strength 6, toughness 7, 12 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 leadership, 3+ save. So basically, they're just like tanks, but they're not tanks. They're mechs. Good move of 14. Good ballistic skill and weapon skill. Doesn't do so good once they get messed up. So you can mix and match if you take if you squad them up. If you squad them up, you can mix and match between the two types, which I don't think you can do with the normal armigers, but there's basically the two types. You have the ones that has 2 Armiger autocannons. Okay, gun. I mean, you get 4d3 shots at strength 7, which is good. AP -1, that's not very good. And 3 damage. So, I mean, yeah, the 3 damage is good, but they're not all going to wound if it only has AP -1. So, I mean, okay at dealing with, like, heavy infantry stuff, but I don't know. And then the other one has the thermal spear and the Reaper chain cleaver. So thermal spear, assault D3, strength 8, -4 AP, D6. So just basically a D3 like melt-a-gun type gun. If it's within half range, roll 2 for the damage. So I mean, just a nice little like anti-tank thing there. Then the other thing it has besides that is the Reaper Chain Fist. So you can either have it sweep with it, which is basically kicking, so you get 8 attacks instead of 4. Or you can have it times up and -3 AP, 3 damage. So that's pretty good. The strike lets you have anti-tank and melee too. So I like the thermal spear one more than that one, just because what... Because you get roughly 6 shots with the autocannon. Yeah? Yeah. You get roughly 6 shots with it, 6 or 7. In this, you have less shots, but then you can wreck stuff in melee, too. And it's got the ion shield and the squadron. Alright, so let's look at their points real quick, and then I can make sure the stuff's right. Okay, so the Dominus is a straight 500, but its base guns are all free. Yeah, alright. But then if you take the other stuff on it, what else could it take? We'll look real quick. Oh, 2 shield breaker missiles, 2 twin melt-a-guns, 2 siege breaker cannons. Oh, I'd even look at those. I'm sorry, guys. We'll look at those real quick. Once per battle. That's stupid that you can't make invulnerable saves. There's no reason for that. I don't like that. I mean, it's good, but I don't like the minus invuln saves on random stuff. 2 siege breaker cannons. Okay, so just like battle cannons, but worse. Okay, so that's just the weird stuff. Alright, so let's see how many points are those. Okay, so they're not that bad. Oh, where's the other thing? Twin Siegebreaker cannon. Okay, so they're basically like 550 points. And the Renegade Knights are basically... Avenger Gatling Cannon's the most expensive one. Oh no, Rapid Fire Battle Cannon is. So they'd basically be almost the same points. But I guess the guns are more versatile on... Well, I don't know. The new Knights, I feel, are maybe slightly better for the points than the other Knights, but then it is more egg in a basket type of thing. Alright, and then if you do have them, you get a couple nice little things that they've added, which is cool. It'd be nice if they did this for the Traitor Guard, cough cough, as I've been saying. But, yeah. So, you can have a Warlord as one of your Knights, and that guy can become a character. And there's funky stuff that happens with your command points. If they're your Warlord, you can give them the Warlord trait where they have objective secure, and if the opposing player has something that has objective secure, your Knight counts as 10 models. They have a relic, and it's just 1 from the leadership within 12, 6 of the if they're within 6, subtract 2 from the leadership. So not that useful, but I mean something. 2 stratagems. I think the stratagems are the best because no matter what, you can use them even if you just have a random detachment of a Knight. Rotate Ion Shield, so if they're going to try to nuke your Knight, you can at least get up to a 4+ invuln save. Then Trail of Destruction is good. If you're shooting or attacking, you can use it, and it lets you reroll all your hits for that phase. So I think that's definitely useful if you have something that makes your Knight not hit as well in melee. Because then, you know, they have less chance to hit, so it's better that you get to reroll it. Yeah, so like nothing crazy, but just fun stuff. Alright, now we're going to look at the Forgeful Knights. Now, these are the normal ones. These technically aren't the Chaos ones. There's like no difference in the stuff. The only difference is the names of some of the stuff, but they do the same thing. So I'm just going to do this because I don't think I have the other one downloaded onto my computer, so we're just going to deal with these ones. But it's the same stuff. They just might have like vaguely different names, but it's this, like not even vaguely different. They'll have almost the exact same name. So a Castus Knight Porphyrion. I'm sorry for the pronunciation on that one. Strength 8, Toughness 9. I've made a mistake. There is something that's Toughness 9. Wow. I didn't know that. Well, this thing's very tough if it's Toughness 9 then, because all the anti-tank stuff's going to be hitting on, wounding on 5s. 30 wounds, 3 attacks. Good ballistic skill, good weapon skill, good save. It's got the 5-up save against shooting attacks. Still can get beat up by melee attacks. And all the melee stuff makes it go higher than its toughness, so it's not going to help him when people... So basically this thing, you just run in and you beat it to death with whatever you have. So what guns does it have? It has 2 twin Magna las cannons, 2 autocannons, an Iron Storm missile pod, and it has Titanic feet. So it still gets 9 melee attacks, I mean... But the twin Magna las cannons are the main thing it has that are awesome. Alright, so it is 2 twin. Alright. So you get 4 D3 shots, so that's basically 6. Because you get 1, well... 1... No, it's basically 4 per 2. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's basically like 8 shots, and it's strength 12, minus 3 AP, D6. But you can't make Overwatch with them. Sad face. Yeah, no, whatever you shoot at, that's going to hurt if you hit it and you wound it. I mean, you should hit it and wound it, because this thing has good shots and it has good strength. So it has 2 autocannons. You can replace those with las cannons. And you can take the defense missiles instead of the iron pod missiles if you want. And it blows up really good, and it has a chance to heal. Now this is the one I have, and I really like this one. I think with the new knights coming out, it's not as good, because the new knights are like roughly 550, and this thing's like 500-ish points right below it, I'm pretty positive. But, so what it has is, it has the Archon Flame Cannon, so you get a d6 less shots, but you do 3 damage with them. So not always. So I mean, I'd rather just have more shots, but what are you gonna do? These things do have 27 wounds, so slightly more wounds than the normal one, and I think they do move faster. So he has the flame cannon. He has it just has one twin heavy bolter, and then has the Reaper Chain Fist, which is so 16, so it's going to double up on all your normal knights. You have to subtract 1 from the hit roll, but it's a -4 AP, 6 damage. So you're just going to beat everything up you hit with that. That'd be a good thing to use your the stratagem that lets you reroll the stuff. And then he has Titanic Feet too. He's got the thing where he can heal. He has the flank speed, so if for some reason you would want to advance, you can. He has the Ion Shield, which you can use the one stratagem on. So I like him. He's probably he's one of my favorites of these ones. I like all the Cerastus Knights though. Cerastus Knight Atropos. His power level is way higher, but I don't think he's that much more expensive. Same stat line as that one. He's got the Las Cutter. If somehow you would kill a vehicle or monster, you get to do it again with this thing. And it's just a good like Melta type thing that doesn't have the extra damage thing, but it's just straight 6 damage. Las Cutter. Really awesome melee weapon. It's only strength 14 against 16 for the Archon, but you get to reroll all the hit and wound rolls for it against monsters, buildings, or vehicles. So that's better. And you don't have the -1 to hit. And then you have the Singularity Cannon. On a 1, he takes a mortal wound. 2 to 5 is just normal. But on a 6, it goes to strength 16, so double up on everything. AP -4 and D6 damage. So just crazy if you would get lucky. So normal stuff can heal, explodes, flank speed. Oh, but he does have a 4+ against shooting attacks and a 5+ against melee attacks. So that is really good compared to this guy where he just has it against the shooting attacks. And then he does have it where add 1 to your hit rolls when making shooting attacks against Titanic models. Castigator, sort of a weird thing where he's very like the normal knight. He has a few more wounds. He's a little bit faster. But he has basically the Avenger Gatling Cannon, but it has 2 more shots. But then no matter what, he has to take the Tempest Warblade, which has a chance to do mortal wounds, but it's not really worth it because it's only strength 5. Knight Lancer, he's the cheapest one, and he's basically just the melee knight. That's the Cerastus ones. He Shock Blast, very sucky shooting attack. His main thing is he has the Shock Lance, which lets you reroll all hit rolls if he's if he charged. So if it's just attacking anything, if he charges. And it's good. He doesn't get to double up on the knights, but he does get to hit everything else. Heals, explodes, flank speed. So in the fight phase, so he has a 5+ invuln save no matter what, but a 4+ during the fight phase. Oh, and if he's engaged with enemy Titanic models, they have to subtract 1 from their hit rolls when they try to hit him. So both of these knights just suck, basically. These next two. Like, they're not even really worth it. They're just, like, weird guns on the normal knights, and but their weird guns suck. Lightning Cannon. Each time you make a wound roll of a 6+, you get an AP of -3 and a damage of 3 instead of D3. Okay, well, that's not really good anyways. Because it doesn't really do very much. Phased Plasma Fusel. Just random shooting thing. Twin Rad Cleanser. Okay, the Twin Rad Cleanser is with the Siege Claw. Okay. So then why would you not just do that instead of the Reaper Siege? Why would you not do that instead of the Reaper Chainsword anyway? Huh, if you get a gun too. So it automatically hits, and it wounds on a 3+ against everything except for vehicles. But it has no AP. So, I mean, yeah, if you get lucky, you can kill stuff, but it's not that good. So it ignores cover against vehicles, and vehicles don't normally get cover. It can heal, explodes, 4+ against shooting attacks, 5+ against melee attacks. So it can do the same thing where it gets the Siege Claw and the Rad Cleanser. So it has the Crusher, Graviton Crusher, Heavy D3, 6, -2, 2. Okay, so just if they have good armor, it goes to 3 damage. Okay, well, it's not going to hit them ever, really. The other one, Volkite, I'm not even going to try to say that. Strength 8, -3 AP, D6 damage. Okay, so when you make a wound roll a 6+, you get another hit. And you don't get extra hits from the additional hits. So it's basically like a las cannon that gets 5 shots, and you have a chance to get more. So that's not that bad. That's not as bad as I thought it was, at least. It's only AP -3, but still, that's not awful. Most of the stuff you're going to be shooting at has invuln saves anyways. But I mean, the other thing is he just has that sucky gun. I mean, this guy's not as bad as I thought he was, and he's way cheaper than this guy. This guy sucks, in my opinion. This thing at least has that. And he's got that same weird stuff. So, I mean, he's okay. I would say that's the only one that just straight sucks. He's not that amazing, but like he can just go beat up anything. He's pretty meh. I'd say he's probably the worst of the Cerastus Knights. Or, I don't know. He might be slightly better than this guy, actually. He might be the worst. So he's pretty meh. That guy is sort of weird. He can beat stuff up, but he vaguely shoots. What he shoots is good, but he doesn't get to shoot a lot. It's just weird. I like this guy, but I don't think he's that amazing, because he only has the 5+ invuln save. Then that thing's super expensive, but it just shoots everything and kills it. Yeah, so that's the stuff for the knights. They're, and we'll go look at their points levels real quick. You know, they're just so expensive. It's not always the best to use them, but like if the enemy is unprepared, you can wreck them. But if they just have a lot of anti-tank, you're in trouble. Especially if they have anti-tank that's combat-oriented. Oh, I think I was one above. Oh, yeah, I was a little bit above it. All right. So I'm pretty positive that's not right. I think they made it cost more. So you'll have to check that out if you're going to buy one, because I think it's way more now. Archon is basically like 80, 120 added on to that. So he's just under 500 points. Atropos, his stuff's more expensive, I think. Or no, his is less, but it's because he's more. Yeah, so they're all roughly 500 of the cheaper ones, and that thing's more. So, I mean, I'd say there's probably better stuff you can get for the points, but I don't think any of them are... Well, I mean, that one's awful, but I think they're generally pretty okay, especially if you can work around them and use them well. So, that's this video. Not sure what video I'm going to make next, but thanks for watching, and let me know if I screwed up anywhere, and let me know if you enjoyed it. So, yeah, thank you, and goodbye.